Hey, Bill Shaka here. Welcome to another edition of Crush Your Company's Quota. Welcome, sales managers, directors of sales, chief marketing officers, effective vice president or executive vice presidents of sales and marketing, and chief revenue officers, anybody that has to do with managing the sales force. Today in Crush Your Company's Quota, I would like to talk about alignment and values, communication through behavior. I'll tell you a story that I had brought up to me in a training session, a live face-to-face training session before the China virus hit, and we were able to do live face-to-face sessions on a daily basis. I had a group of salespeople and their managers in the room. And one sales manager, whenever he talked, I noticed there was a lot of sneers and a lot of heads going down and eyes rolling and so forth. So at break, I went to an individual that I felt comfortable with and said, "Hey, what's going on with John? Why is it that every time he says something, there's this murmur of discontent in the room?" And basically, the individual I was talking to said, it's because he did something to the sales team that we won't forget. And it happened about 2 years ago. Here's what happened. He came into a sales meeting, and I'll use the first name John as an example. He came into a sales meeting and started ripping the sales staff apart for expenses that were too high. He told individuals that dinners were completely out anymore, no more client dinners. Matter of fact, if you needed to take a client out, take them to lunch. If you're in the habit of taking clients out to lunch, take them to breakfast because it's cheaper. Presents, etc. All the stuff that was done at the time could no longer be done because the expenses were too high. Now keep in mind, the company was in fact hitting its plan. It was hitting goal. But John just tried to reduce expenses. He wanted the cost to go down, and I think a lot of the salespeople saw that what he was trying to do was simply bolster his own career by basically banging the heads of the salespeople with a board to make sure that expenses were lower, so he can go back to upper management and say, "Look what I've done. Even though we're at plan, I've lowered expenses." Okay. So that's what happened at the meeting, and it was a real true come to Jesus meeting from what I was told. But here's what happened after that. There's a local watering hole right where the office was, where a lot of the salespeople, after the sales meetings, would go and have a drink or two. Well, lo and behold, John was at the bar having Manhattan, I think he said. Manhattan or a martini? I think it was Manhattan. Anyway, he had one, he had two. And the salespeople were around. Nobody was really talking to John. John didn't seem to care too much. But here's what he did afterwards. He whipped out his corporate American Express card, the business card, and he paid for his drinks with that. Right after he told the staff to cut expenses, he paid for his drinks with the corporate card. Now, I'm not suggesting that that's wrong, nor am I suggesting it's right. What I'm suggesting is that the perception that was generated by paying for drinks with the corporate card directly after having a fire and brimstone meeting about expenses being too high was probably inappropriate timing. And that perception never left John. It stuck to him. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to think about this. Our behaviors mean so much more than words. We can pound our fist and say, "I want more sales." But it's quite a different matter when you pound your fist and say, "I want more sales. I'm going to ride with one of you tomorrow." Keep people on their toes. I'm going to sit with you in your telemarketing session. Keep people on their toes. See, it's quite different when you begin to exhibit behavior that's going to allow you to get into the direction that you want to get into, or go into the direction that you want to go to. It's quite different when you exhibit that behavior than just simply talking about it. You know, the old Greek philosopher and storyteller Aesop, I believe he said that when all is said and done, there is normally more said than done. Think about that in terms of your own management repertoire when it comes to managing your sales force. Okay? Don't just talk. Do. People notice behavior a lot more than words. Bill Shaka, thank you. Please subscribe. Bye.